Hey everyone, welcome to Monday/Tuesday with Pastor Dan. It's a little break between my classes, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do it, especially since we're going to state tomorrow to watch the girls softball team headed up to Fort Dodge. So thought I'd take this opportunity to talk about an absolutely great hymn. Now this will probably be a shorter video because there's not a lot to talk about necessarily. But I think that's actually kind of really telling of the hymn. So it's How Firm a Foundation. And it's one of those that we know really well that has a pretty long history. But it was got to talk about John Rippon, who was the pastor of Carter's Lane Baptist Church in London for 63 years. Beginning in 1775. Excuse me. And during those years at Carter Lane, John developed a vision for a church hymnal, which he edited with the help of Keene. I think his name was, Robert Keene, who was his organist and a close friend and a music leader at the church. And they put this selection of hymns together from the best authors, intended to be what they called an appendix to Psalms and hymns. And it was published in 1787, and that's when the first time that How Firm a Foundation shows up, which is interesting because if you look at How Firm a Foundation, some places accredit it to Keene, but most, it'll just have a K there. Most people agree that we don't know who wrote this hymn, and I think that attributes to kind of the unique power of it is that we don't actually know the authorship of this hymn, and I'll come back to this in a second. We're talking about foundation and firmness and that foundation that we're built upon, and this hymn does that. And I think it's incredible that we actually don't know who did it. It's a testament to how the Spirit works, and this hymn gets included without authorship, like it's just, I don't know, the foundation that we're supposed to be standing on. How firm a foundation. I think that's really, really powerful. It has stood the test of time and has been played at countless funerals and services for presidents and for important people and all sorts of incredible people that changed the way the world works, and they chose to have this song, How Firm a Foundation, this Spirit-driven song that has no authorship. I think it's just fantastic that we don't know who wrote it. But what we do know about it is that each stanza is, it had an original 7, but we only use 4 now. But what was Rippon's selection is built on a biblical promise. And this is why I didn't have you all get out your hymnals just yet. So it, not hymnals, sorry, I didn't read scripture first. It is, the biblical promises are this: Isaiah 41:10, Isaiah 43:2, 2 Corinthians 12:9, and then Hebrews 13:5. And so I'm not sure what translation this uses. I'm sure maybe NIV or King James, but here's Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall flames scorch you. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon you. And then Hebrews 13:5. For he himself has said, I will never leave you or forsake you. These are the promises that this hymn, that we don't know who wrote it, like it just kind of appeared. They're the foundation. They're the foundation. Everybody needs a solid foundation. We have to learn to walk before we run. We have to learn to crawl before we walk. We have to learn the alphabet or teach the alphabet to a kid before we teach them words, before we teach them sentences and paragraphs. there's a baser level to everything, whether it's sport, whether it's life, whether it's faith. And how from a foundation, coming from where we don't know, almost out of nowhere from the Spirit, dictates that out of those promises. Not to fear, Christ will be with us. Where we go, God goes. So next time we sing this song, which I think may be this Sunday, think about that. Think about this hymn just kind of appears out of nowhere in 1787, I believe. And it just kind of pops in and becomes this powerful, foundational song for many of us. May you all have a blessed week. Look forward to seeing you soon.